Good morning, everyone. My name is Charmaine Kendal, and I am a student at the School of Philosophy in Cape Town. Welcome to this presentation on Wit and Wisdom. I am going to show you the connection between the two of them. But first, I'm going to present to you a wonderful little book which I found on my bookshelf. It's been on my bookshelf for a long time. As you can see, the pages are quite brown and most likely going to fall out very soon. And I'm going to show you how the wisdom and wit align very closely through these stories. So, what is the word wisdom? What is the word wit? And of course, philosophy is to do with a love of wisdom. So I decided to have a look at, but before we look at this, I'll just show you a slide of the book that I'm talking about. The book, The Exploits of the Incomparable Mullah Nasrudin, and it's written by the Sufi Idris Shah. Now let's look at the etymology of the word wisdom and the word wit. If we go back to Old English, the word wisdom, which is derived from wis, wise, and dom, meaning judgment or decision, would have meant the realm or the judgment of the wise, or the law of the wise. So that's a beautiful meaning for the word wisdom. In the Middle Ages, unlike today, wit would have had a different meaning. Today, when we speak about wit, we think about something that's funny, something that is acerbic, maybe joking. The Middle English word is much nicer. Listen to the definition. Wit is understanding, intellect, sense, knowledge, consciousness, and conscience. That sheds a different light on the word wit. And maybe we can use that. So, let's go back to our character, Mullah Nasrudin. A mullah is a teacher, and there are many different names given to him. His influence stretches across the Middle East, to the East, and even in Europe. And if you read about him, you will find that he has different names and was known by different names. For example, as Michael Shelton quotes in his book, Nasruddin Hoxha, you see a different name, stories are told in tea houses from China to Hungary, from southern Siberia to North Africa. The Arabs know him as clever Johar. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Let's begin that again. The Arabs know him as clever Johar. To the people of Egypt, he is the prankster Gohar. To the people of China, he is the wise Afanti. The people of Turkey, however, claim the historical figure behind the legendary folk hero. So that was not very wise of me to leave the phone in the room. I do apologize. But have a look at Mullah Nasrudin on his donkey with a turban on his head. He is often depicted on a donkey, either forwards or backwards, And he generally has a story. A number of his a turban, and a number of his stories are actually related to his turban. So, to move on, where was he born? Who was he? We don't know. But there is one report which states that he was born in 1208 in central Anatolia, that's Turkey today, in a village called Hortu, possibly where the arrow ends. So he received an education to become an imam and served as a religious teacher, preacher, and judge. He died in 1284 at the age of 76. But of course, he didn't really die because his influences spread widely and his stories are still alive. We don't know that this is the Mullah Nasrudin, but the Turkish people do claim that it is. And also, he appears often in his stories as the religious teacher, the preacher, or the judge. Now, to move on, Indra Shah, the writer of this book, describes the mullah as variously referred to as very stupid, improbably clever, and the possessor of mystical secrets. He also says the dervishes used him to illustrate in their teachings the antics characteristic of the human mind. That's why we can all relate to him. We all do the things that Mullah Nasrudin does. We all think the things he does and make the same misconceptions as he does. And I will show that to you now. I'm going to read 3 short stories from this book. Oh, but before I do, let me tell you about the Sufis. Apparently, the Sufis told their disciples to take 2 or 3 stories, read them, reflect on them, apply them in life, similar to what we do, and eventually these stories will make meaning and wisdom will arise. So my 3 stories are, the first one is, there is more light here. Someone saw Nasrudin searching for something on the ground. "What have you lost, Mullah?" he asked. "My key," said the Mullah. So they both went down on their knees and looked for it. After a time, the other man asked, "Where exactly did you drop it?" "In my own house." "Then why are you looking here? There is more light here than inside my own house." Isn't that so much like us? How often do we look for things outside of ourselves where there appears to be more light, outside in the world? I'm thinking of happiness, acceptance, love. We're constantly searching in the wrong place. We need to look for the key to these things within ourselves. It might be dark there, but the key can open up and reveal the true light. So there you are. There's an example of wit and wisdom in what apparently appeared to be stupidity. The second one is called But for the Grace. Seeing a white shape in the garden in the half-light, Nasrudin asked his wife to hand him his bow and arrows. He hit the object and went out to see what it was. Came back almost in a state of collapse. That was a narrow shave. Just think, if I had been in that shirt of mine hanging there to dry, I would have been killed. It was shot right through the heart. We have many shirts flapping in the wind, many fears that are insubstantial. They're moved by circumstances, the wind. They come and they go, and we believe them to be real. And what is even funnier, we believe ourselves to be at the center of the fear. Right there. So maybe that's a good story to reflect on. The last story I'm going to read, I'm not going to give an interpretation. I'm going to do a Sufi trick on you and ask you to take the story and apply it in your life. See what you can discover about your life, about dream, about reality. It's called I'll Take the 9. In a dream, Nasrudin saw himself being counted out coins. When there were 9 silver pieces in his hand, the invisible donor stopped giving them. Nasrudin shouted, "I must have 10!" so loudly that he woke himself up. Finding that all the money had disappeared, he closed his eyes again and murmured, "All right then, give them back. I'll take the 9. So what do you make of that? I'm thankful that you all came to listen this morning. I see we have people from Scotland and Surrey and Bristol and somebody from France. How wonderful. And even somebody from New Zealand. Thank you for joining this talk. Please would you like and share and comment. And remember to join us again next week when somebody else will present a topic on philosophy live. Thank you. Goodbye.